Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's Nightwing run has been widely celebrated. In an era following on from Tom King's Batman, including the death of Alfred Pennyworth, the Joker War event, and the much-hated Rick Grayson storyline, Taylor and Redondo brought a sense of fun, heart, and experimentation. We had an issue that put the reader in the shoes of Nightwing, showing every scene from his perspective, but the focus of this video is an issue told in one continuous image. Today, I want to take a look at Nightwing number 87, and how Taylor and Redondo use a technique that many readers have seen, but may not have known the name of. In order to discuss Nightwing 87, we need to establish some terminology and parameters. In terms of comic studies, the page, and more specifically panels, act as moments of time. These moments do not have a defined length of time. Instead, it's the artist and writer that implies the amount of time taking place. The size and shape of the panel does not determine the amount of time, it's the content. Elements such as speech balloons, movement, and other semiotic cues give the reader an idea of what action is taking place in the panel, to which we can interpret the amount of time taking place. The images and elements seen within a panel are a single moment in time. For a full page or even a double page spread, this means that an entire page has become a single moment in time. With that in mind, what happens when an image is separated across multiple panels, like this one from Absolute Batman number 2? Despite it being one image, the way it is separated across 4 panels indicates that 4 different moments are happening as we see this scene. It's the difference between seeing the image in one shot, as opposed to slowly panning across the scene. We see artists and creators use this frequently in comics, particularly in scenes with conversations, or where they want to show the slow progression of something across a single setting. For an example, one of the final pages for Batman number 85 shows the rooftops of Gotham. While the rooftops act as a backdrop, the full image is separated into 4 different panels. If we imagine a camera taking a series of photos, what we see here is 4 separate images taken with Batman, Catwoman, and various villains in different positions. The concept of panels acting as representations of a camera is a long-standing tradition used by artists and writers. It's a primary reason why we use terms such as framing when discussing panel layouts. In the 1960s, many American comic book artists such as Cohn acknowledged that elements of their work purposefully mimic a camera set to a slow shutter speed, particularly in creating blurring effects to simulate motion. This can most noticeably be seen with characters and moving objects. Comics theorist Martin Pedler notes the explicit connection between photography and superhero motion that can be seen in 1994's Marvels by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. Marvels attempts to recontextualize early Marvel stories through the literal lens of a camera. The story follows the photographer Philip Sheldon as he documents key moments in Marvel's history, such as the 1940s battle between Namor and the original Human Torch, the first appearance of the Fantastic Four, and other Marvel heroes. In scenes such as this, which recreates Fantastic Four's first encounter with Galactus, we see this act of blurring a character in motion. Because academics have names for everything, of course this technique has a technical name. In fact, what we see here are 2 different techniques stacked on top of each other. The first is what most of us would recognize as motion lock. To get really technical, it's an indexical path line representing motion. The line tracing from the bottom left corner to Galactus' chest represents the path Mr. Fantastic takes. This is extremely common in comics and is something you've probably seen a million times over with various objects and characters. The other technique, which is the primary focus of this video, is polymorphic imagery, or reduplication. This is the act of showing an object or character in motion and personifying the segmentation of that movement. The intended effect is to mimic the act of a camera attempting to capture something in motion, but ends up capturing after images due to the slow exposure time. The most common example we see of polymorphic imagery are with speedsters, or at least characters moving at an increased speed. We see this frequently with Flash running, typically shown to emphasize specific points within Flash's movement, such as when he's had to quickly change direction, catch something, or complete tasks in one panel. Another case we commonly see is Superman changing his clothes. Most commonly this is Clark Kent changing into Superman, so he can deal with an oncoming threat. The way we see the characters in these examples of polymorphic imagery adds a sense of verisimilitude to the action. Finally, with all that technical stuff set out, how does this apply to Nightwing number 87? For those who haven't read it, Nightwing number 87 is presented as one long image showing Nightwing and later Batgirl trying to rescue their dog Haley. With the knowledge that this issue is told as one continuous image, this leads to an obvious question. Does this entire issue count as an example of polymorphic imagery? Well, let's go back to some other examples of polymorphic imagery. What we see with these is a consistent rhythm. Clark changing clothes is seen to be several quick motions, but done at a consistent pace. The same with Flash. While he's running around, there is nothing random about it, and it maintains a purposeful rhythm to his actions. Now compare this with Nightwing number 87. Dick Grayson is walking across a footbridge, talking on his phone. As he's suddenly shot at, he begins to run before scaling the side of a building, getting changed before swinging into a skylight and fighting the gangsters inside. In order to stop a van, Nightwing swings down again and stops to talk to a motorcyclist who offers up their bike. From there, Nightwing follows the van across the bridge before meeting up with Batgirl and breaking into a warehouse. The pair fight the goons inside before finally rescuing Haley from their boss and swinging away. Even from a brief recap, we can see that there are changes in the speed that Nightwing moves. There are moments that involve Nightwing slowing down, even momentarily stopping. In contrast, there are moments where he drastically speeds up, such as when he's on the motorcycle. When looking at this issue as one continuous image, then no, this is not an example of polymorphic imagery. It's an experiment that happens to bear a similarity to polymorphic imagery. However, when reading this issue, we're not actually seeing it as one continuous image. Instead, it's presented across 22 pages. With all the pages except for the first and last being presented as 2-page spreads, we're technically seeing this as 12 moments in time, or 12 panel pages. In these 12 panel pages, we do see the pacing of those pages as consistent. Dick walking at a casual pace across a footbridge, that's 1 page. Nightwing and Batgirl fighting a warehouse of goons, that's 1 panel page. Whether by accident or by design, the individual pages become separations for moments. With the images now reframed as a series of moments, the polymorphic imagery now works. In essence, this issue of Nightwing can be viewed in 2 completely valid ways, either as a series of pages displaying polymorphic imagery at different rates, or an experimental work that expands the comic page much like an old tapestry. There is talk about releasing this issue as a continuous fold-out to give readers the intended effect, but even if that doesn't come out, please know that the released editions do still hold just as large a value. Regardless of how you read the issue, I hope you still get something out of it. So, have you read this issue? What did you think of it? Please let me know in the comments, and I guess I should say this more, but also like and subscribe and all that jazz. In some good news, I finally got monetized. It's something I've been working towards, and I want to share the things I love about comics, and hopefully spread some of my research out into the world so people can use it. But also, if I can help some friends and family with some money troubles, it's completely worth the time it takes to make these. Honestly, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. Somehow we're at 3K subs. I've gotten to stretch some writing muscles in terms of rephrasing research for a different audience, and particularly in trying to make my work clearer and easier to understand for people who haven't spent the last 5 years staring at data. I do appreciate it, and I hope someone is getting something out of these, even if it's just some background noise while you work. As always, till next time, and thank you.